Most beginners in the Amazon Influencer Program are focusing on the wrong things. They're worried about thumbnails, camera quality, whether or not they should show their face, conversion rates, dashboards, blah, blah, blah. All that stuff that feels important when you're just starting. But a new survey of over 200 Amazon influencers just broke down what actually predicts higher monthly earnings. Using real, compiled data, not just, hey, this worked for me, advice from a Facebook group. And some of what you think matters doesn't. So I want to walk you through what they found, and more importantly, what it means if you're a beginner trying to grow your income in this program. Now, quick context from where this data came from. This comes from data coach Claire. She is an Amazon influencer herself, earning over $10,000 a month in the program, and she coaches other influencers. But this is a little bit different, is that she uses data-driven strategies to help them grow and monetize. Every year, she surveys across different income levels to look at what's actually working, not anecdotal advice, but real aggregated reports across creators. She basically living in the spreadsheet so we don't have to, which is great because I don't want to. She's currently finishing up her full annual report, which is supposed to be coming out in a couple of weeks, and I will definitely be digging into that when it drops. I'm going to tag her below so that you can follow her on YouTube and also sign up for her newsletter. She drops tons of awesome, great information, so you'd be missing out if you didn't sign up to follow her, both in her newsletter as well as on YouTube, so make sure you do that. She shared some early findings from the survey, and I wanted to break them down here because I think for beginners to translate what actually this kind of data means in real life might be a little bit difficult. So before we get into the findings, here's how she analyzed it. Claire surveyed over 200 Amazon influencers, and she ran what's called a stepwise linear regression to determine which factors independently predict higher monthly earnings when controlling for multiple variables at the same time. Blah, blah, blah. Basically, what actually moves income when you zoom out and account for everything together. These three big levers emerged that explained about 70% of differences in monthly earnings between creators. 70%, y'all. That is not just random noise. That's definitely a pattern. So let's start with the first findings. Finding number one was the number of storefront posts. More storefront videos directly correlated with higher monthly earnings. And that effect held even after controlling for things like average view duration, which income streams creators were earning from. So in simple terms, scale still matters. The income profile of someone with 200 to 300 videos looks super different from someone with 1,500 to 2,000 videos. Now, what does this mean for beginners? It does not mean that you need thousands of videos tomorrow. But it does mean that volume is not optional if your goal is serious income in this program. It just isn't. If you're brand new, your job is still to build a catalog. You're learning how to film, you're learning how to structure videos, you're learning how to answer buying questions. These things are all incredibly important. Remember that you need enough content to live in your storefront to even start generating data. So early on, the question isn't, how do I make one perfect video? The question is, how do I build sustainable posting volume over time? Actually, hold on for a second. If you're an Amazon influencer program right now, drop your current storefront video count below. I'm really curious to see where everyone's starting from. And if you're working towards your first 100 videos, just type road to 100. I read all of these, and I think it's really helpful for newer creators to see where other people are in their journey too. Okay, let's move on to finding number two. Finding number two was the percent of income coming from creator connections. And this was one of the strongest predictors of total earnings. The higher percentage of income coming from creator connections, the higher total monthly earnings tended to be. For many top earners, creator connections made up more than 50% or more of their of their overall income. That definitely stood true for me. I was shocked by how much more money I made because of creator connections. This tells us something really practical, though. It's not just about how many videos you upload. It's about how many of those products actually have active creator connections campaigns attached to them. Because whenever you're earning through creator connections, you're often also earning through on-site or off-site commission from that same sale. So it becomes a bit of a double dip. And who doesn't like a double dip? Two creators can have the same post number, but very different total earnings depending on how much of their active creator connections campaigns are attached to the products that they have made videos for. Now, what does this mean if you're a beginner? It means you don't want to ignore creator connections. That is for sure. Posting volume is important, but being intentional about campaign products matters too. And this is also where workflow comes into play because campaigns don't just sit there forever. They fill up and then they close. If you're working a full-time job or you're asleep, it's easy to miss opportunities. So when we talk about tools or Chrome extensions that help auto-accept creator connections campaigns, um, you know, what are they called? Extensions that are similar to Oink or are Oink because it's among the best of them. This is where conversion becomes strategic, not just convenient. It's not about being lazy. It's about making sure you're structurally positioned to participate in one of the biggest income predictors in the program. If Creator Connections is mathematically tied to higher earnings, and it is, then having systems in place to help you keep up and actually accept all of those campaigns just kind of makes sense, especially if you're trying to scale. Quick side note, I know people always ask me this, so if you are using Oink or you want to use Oink, I will put the code that I have down below, as well as right here on the screen, and it'll give you 10% off for life. So look out for that. Obviously, it's optional, but it is a way to support the channel, and it's no extra expense to you. Now, you don't need automation to succeed. But if you're trying to scale Creator Connections participation, infrastructure super helps. All right, finding number 3. Finding number 3 was average view duration. Higher view duration was associated with higher monthly earnings. Top earners tend to average around 1 minute or more in view duration across their videos. And every additional second of watch time was associated with higher income. Every additional second. That's important because this means Amazon is actually mathematically rewarding engagement, not effort, engagement. There's also an important nuance here that I need you to know. Time spent per video on its own was mathematically neutral. So spending more minutes filming or editing does not automatically increase those earnings. It only helps if that extra effort results in longer watch time. So if someone spends 25 minutes creating a video that only gets 10 seconds of watch time, that effort doesn't actually move the income needle at all. Now here's where I want to layer in context for beginners. If you've watched my content before, you know that in the early stages, I talk a lot about volume being the primary focus, and that still stands. In the beginning, your job is to build a catalog. You have to build a catalog. Retention becomes more of a phase 2 lever to pull. Once you have a solid volume of videos live, that's when you start looking at average view duration, identifying patterns, and refining structure. So it's not volume versus retention. It's volume first, then retention layered on top. Volume builds the foundation. Retention strengthens the performance. Okay, now let's talk about something that I think is actually really freeing. Once Claire controlled for those 3 big levers, number of storefront posts, percent from creator connections, and average view duration, several things did not independently predict higher earnings. Those included conversion rate, showing your face in the video, thumbnail type, and software on its own. That doesn't mean that those things never matter. It means when you account for the big 3, they don't independently drive total earnings. And I think that's really important for beginners to hear. You don't need to show your face to be successful. You don't need perfect thumbnails to start making money. You don't need expensive software before you've built volume. When you zoom out, the strategy becomes pretty clear. Make a lot of videos. Be intentional about creator connections. Improve watch time over time. If you want to take something practical from this video, ask yourself this. How many videos have I posted in the last 30 days? What is my average view duration across my storefront? Am I intentionally prioritizing products with active creator connections campaigns? And do I have systems in place if I'm serious about scaling that income stream? Because again, based on this survey, those are the actual levers that move the earnings needle right now. Not what's going to happen 6 months from now, but that's what's working right now. Again, I'll link Data Coach Claire below so that you can follow her on YouTube and sign up for her newsletter. I can't overstate how much value that she's bringing to the program and to coaching in general, especially with her annual report coming out in the next couple of weeks. I'm super interested to see the full breakdown when it drops. And if you're looking to tighten up your Creator Connections workflow, as a reminder, I'll go ahead and drop my 10% off code in the description below if you want to try it out. If this breakdown was helpful for you, please let me know in the comments so that I know the types of videos that are helpful and I can continue making content for you. As always, keep your eyes on your own paper. Focus on the levers that actually move the income, and I'll see you in the next one. You got this.